Guyana Festival opens. President holds meeting with Wakapau residents and head of state attends inauguration of Colombian president. We'll have the details of these and other presidential activities in this week's edition of The Diary for the period August 2 to 8. I'm Vindia Tumeshwar. On August 2, President Ramatar paid a visit to the indigenous community of Wakapau Region 2, where residents were brought up to speed on the challenges that are obstructing his administration from fulfilling its constitutional responsibilities. He was accompanied by Minister within the Ministry of Agriculture, Ali Bashk. The president called out the political opposition for employing various tactics to stymie the work of the government, calling them anti-national, anti-developmental.
They believe that if they can make things bad in our country, that it can probably help them politically because people might get angry with us. They underestimate the intelligence of our people to understand what they're trying to do to destroy this country. And woe be the day if they ever get back in power, as I told you what they did when they were there before.
Despite the roadblocks on the hydropower project, the president reaffirmed his government's commitment to harnessing the country's hydropower potential so that citizens can enjoy cheap electricity.
I'm still pushing ahead. We just had an economic study again by the IDB that proved that this will be a very good project and that we should have it. And we're telling Blackstone that if you don't want to come along with this project, we are going to look for new partners. But we must have cheap electricity in this country for us. Our people deserve a better standard of living, and I am going to push ahead to ensure that we have hydroelectricity in Guyana. That is what I'm going to do.
The president spoke of the opposition's no-confidence motion threat and said that this latest action shows their dishonesty and the carrying of the propaganda line that the government, in restoring the budget cut projects, is acting illegally.
The Constitution gives us this right. And we were acting constitutionally. They cut in 2012, they cut the budget, and we did the same thing and they voted for it in Parliament. They cut it in 2013 and we did the same thing and they voted for some of the items. Now they're saying they want to take Minister Singh to the Privilege Committee, showing you and saying that he acted illegally. He did not act illegally, but these people are just there to try to make problems and not to cooperate to push our country forward.
While there, the president handed over a boat and engine to the residents of Wakapau to assist in the village's transportation needs. This was his first visit to Wakapau in his capacity as head of state.
President Donald Ramatar, I know for a fact that President, before he became president, he has been among us. He has been a man who slept among our people in Wakapau here, and you might know that. But he is a man who knows the corners of Wakapau, and he has spent the night here, and he has been a comrade over the years.
While in the riverine area, the president emphasized the importance of education in science and technology to drive the country's economy and spoke of the investments that have been made in this regard.
The world has shown us that the most important factor for development is our people. And that is how you can see the difference with us and the previous government. You can look at our budget and see how we spend our money. And then you can understand that we not only speak about this as a philosophy, but we try to implement it and live it. Since we got in office, we built more than 1,000 schools in this country. Students who used to write common entrance exams, only 30% of the children of primary schools used to be attending secondary schools. They had to fail. The past government had to fail them. Not because they were not bright, not because they were not capable, but they did not have the place for them. They didn't provide the place for them. And that is why they had to fail our children and condemn many of them into alcoholism and other things. Didn't give them the opportunity. But we have started to build schools. As our economy began to grow, We started to invest in our people.
Even as the focus has been on education, other sectors such as health and housing and agriculture, guided by prudent policies and programs as implemented by the administration, have also received much attention and have played their role in furthering the Guyanese economy and improving living standards.
The most important factor for development, the most important thing for development is not how much natural resources that we have, but the quality of people that we have. People are the most important factor for development in any country. And if you look at around the world, you will find that you can see countries that have abundant of natural resources, but have very, very poor people. And then you will find some countries where they don't have anything, and they have a high standard of living and very rich countries.
You're watching The Diary, where we have been recapping the highlights of the President's weekly activities. More after the break.
In an effort to respond more promptly to citizens, the Home Affairs Ministry has launched an online crime reporting system which allows citizens who possess or have access to cell phones, computers, or other devices with internet connections to report criminal activities. Citizens can get instant access to security personnel on BlackBerry Messenger via 280-4E429. Reports of corruption can also be made on www.ipaidthebribe.com. These reports can be made anonymously.
In an effort to better their lives, more than 42,000 pensioners are currently enjoying a 25% increase in their pension. This is in addition to the waiver of the Guyana Water Incorporated's bill. And in another attempt to enhance their lives, over 8,500 pensioners are benefiting from $20,000 subsidy yearly towards their electricity bills with the Guyana Power and Light Incorporated.
The modernization of the Justice Administration System, the MJAS project, has been completed through a loan from the Inter-American Development Bank. Achievements made under the project include amended and new laws, training for personnel within the sector, reduction of the severe case backlog, the refurbishing of courts, increased numbers of judicial officers and training, publication of law reports and their indices online, the establishment of a DPP office in Berbice, computerization of several connected systems, among other aspects. Guyana is set to achieve the goal set by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF of universal birth registration by 2015. The General Register Office has launched an intensive campaign. It has decentralized its services to specifically cater to the needs of residents living in the interior location. Bedside registration is also done in several public hospitals. There are now 200 registration centers operating in 10 regions. Citizens are urged to ensure that all births are registered.
The first ever Guyana Festival was declared open on August 8 at the Guyana National Stadium. The event attracted scores of people from around the country and the diaspora, giving them a 100% Guyanese experience. President Ramatar, First Lady Deolachmi Ramatar, Prime Minister Samuel Hines, several government officials and the diplomatic missions were among the thousands that showed up on opening night. The event kicked off with a thrilling air show put on by the Guyana Defense Forces Harpy Eagle Free Fall Squad.
Yes, sir! They are just a thing from the ground. They went into the red stand. They went into the green stand. Or when they make it to the blue stand. Okay, come on, nice.
A rich cultural extravaganza then commenced on the tarmac of the Guyana National Stadium. The country's 6 people, their culture and diversity were displayed through dances, drumming, songs, and even poetry, much to the delight of the audience.
The fact that Guyanese have come from all over the world, from the continent of Africa, Asia, from the Americas, from Europe, really we see the true meaning of the national motto, one people, one nation, one destiny. Because we have in our hands the ability to fuse a unique Guyanese culture that will build on the riches of our foreparents, build on them while fusing and creating something new, different, and even richer.
The president assured that his government will continue to pursue many of the important projects that are in the pipelines to propel growth in the national economy, which in many ways will ensure that the Guyanese culture is kept alive.
As our economy develops, we also will ensure that the arts develop, that the cultures develop, because culture is not something static. It improves and develops.
Tourism Minister Irfan Ali said that the Guyana Festival provides the unique opportunity for Guyanese to not only market their cultural diversity, but to come together as a people as well.
We wanted to create a unique festival, one that is branded purely Guyanese, one that is international in its outlook. And I think tonight you have had a taste of what we are going to offer the world. You have a taste as to what we are going to market Guyana with. And this product is so diversified and rich that we know it will bring tremendous benefit to our country.
Meanwhile, the president attended the inauguration of Juan Manuel Santos as the president of Colombia. Santos was re-elected for a second term in June. The head of state was accompanied by Foreign Affairs Minister Carolyn Rodriguez Barquette. The swearing-in ceremony was held on August 7 in Bogota, Colombia. President Santos won the June polls in the South American nation by 5%. At age 62, Santos took the oath of office from the President of the Congress of Colombia, José David, who then presented him with the presidential sash. Over 5,000 guests attended the ceremony, including several Latin American leaders, diplomats, and former King of Spain, Juan Carlos. More of the diary after this break.
Guyana is set to achieve the goal set by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF of universal birth registration by 2015. The General Register Office has launched an intensive campaign. It has decentralized its services to specifically cater to the needs of residents living in the interior location. Bedside registration is also done in several public hospitals. There are now 200 registration centers operating in 10 regions. Citizens are urged to ensure that all births are registered. In an effort to respond more promptly to citizens, the Home Affairs Ministry has launched an online crime reporting system which allows citizens who possess or have access to cell phones, computers, or other devices with internet connections to report criminal activities. Citizens can get instant access to security personnel on BlackBerry Messenger via 280-4E429. Reports of corruption can also be made on www.ipaidthebribe.com. These reports can be made anonymously.
Guyana as a tourist destination continues to receive international acclaim. The reputable National Geographic Traveler has named Destination Guyana as one of the must-see places in 2014. The renowned magazine said Guyana is the best-kept secret in South America with stunning natural wonders. This year, increased focus will be placed on enhancing the standards within the industry, focusing on tourism products and services, multi-destination itinerary planning, events management, ecotourism, and sustainable principles and guidelines, as well as a grading scheme which will be developed for the industry.
Guyana has achieved universal primary education. The focus is now on achieving universal secondary education by 2016. This has already been achieved in some regions, but more work has to be done in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9. There are plans to build and extend more schools with the intent that every single child of secondary age will be able to access a 5-year secondary education program in each region.
The Guyana Sugar Corporation's second grinding season is off to a promising start as the 8 estates and 7 factories across the country are all operating. With favorable weather conditions, the industry is expected to meet and even exceed the 216,000 tons 2014 target with ease. The current level of operation represents a continuation of the good performance of the first grinding season. Blairmont and Rosal Kanji estates have performed exceptionally well in this initial stage, with workers earning extra days' wages for production. These developments have made the government even more optimistic about the industry's future.
The price of sugar will not stay low. In fact, my anticipation is that before the end of the year, the world price could very well go up, could raise before the end of the year. Secondly, looking for value added, with the whole intention of finally being able to install our own refinery here, so that we can have our own refined sugar in our country. Because right now we import refined sugar for manufacturing of soft drinks and so forth. So we hope that we can do that. There's a Caribbean market we can have in that area that can be lucrative as Gaisuco comes over this difficult restructuring period that it is under. They're also looking at other ways of cutting costs. Right now they're experimenting with a new kind of fertilizer that is much cheaper. If it proves successful, it will be a huge saving for Gaisuco, and it will be also translated into the rice industry, and so it will be a big saving as well.
Gaisuco has been going through a difficult phase, having suffered a 36% price cut by the European market in 2010. President Ramatar has repeatedly said that what is needed now is a restructuring of the industry.
Gaisuco is a price taker generally, right? And so the price of sugar fluctuates up and down on the international market. What Gaisuco has been doing to try to safeguard against that is to minimize how much sugar they sell on the world market, where the price at this point in time is not very high. They're trying to compensate for the low prices on the world market by doing some value added, limited value added, like packaging, where you get higher prices in the Caribbean market and other areas, other places that they get higher prices for that. Two, they're looking at new streams of income. The whole idea is to change the industry from being a sugar industry to being more of a cane industry. And to use, for instance, a Skeldon, and we started with a cogeneration plant. Hopefully we can have more of that, and looking at the possibilities of having more of that in other factories at this point, to fit them with cogeneration, so that we can have another source of renewable energy, and that's another source of income for Gaisuco. We have a pilot project right now with ethanol to look at that. You know that they said with 10% ethanol mixed with gasoline, you don't have to change anything on your vehicle. So that could be another possibility of income stream for Gaisuco. So we're looking at more income streams from the very products, the byproducts of sugar.
As it stands, Gaisuco has to generate a production of 138,000 tons in this second crop to meet the 216,000 tons 2014 target. And that's all we have for you in this week's diary, but before we go, these were some of the highlights. Guyana Festival opens, President holds meeting with Wakapau residents, and Head of State attends inauguration of Colombian President. Do join us again next week for another program when we will bring you more of the President's activities. Thank you for watching.